She was created to destroy worlds, until one choice changed everything.
The rise of the Brood Queen. The sky burned above the ruins of Earth. Black clouds rolled across the horizon like living monsters. Towers that once touched the heavens stood broken and hollow. Rivers had turned into poisoned streams. Entire cities had become graveyards of metal and ash. At the center of that dying world stood a queen. Her name was Zira. She was not human. She was not machine. She was something far worse. She was the Brood Queen, the final creation of an empire older than time. An empire that existed before humanity discovered fire. An empire that conquered thousands of galaxies and erased countless civilizations. For centuries, the Brood Empire searched for the perfect weapon. They created monsters. They created gods. They created armies that could devour worlds. Yet every weapon failed. Until Zira was born. She emerged from a living chamber deep inside the planet Charon. Millions of alien minds were connected to her consciousness from the moment she opened her eyes. She learned language within seconds. She mastered warfare within minutes. She understood death before she took her first step. The emperors of the Brood Empire looked upon her and smiled. At last, they had created perfection. Zira grew faster than any life form ever recorded. Within a year, she commanded armies. Within 3 years, she led planetary invasions. Within 5 years, entire galaxies feared her name. She never lost a battle. She never showed mercy. She never questioned orders. World after world disappeared beneath her shadow. Civilizations that had existed for millions of years vanished overnight. Children cried her name in terror. Kings surrendered before seeing her. Stars burned because of her decisions. The empire celebrated every victory. Yet something strange began to happen. Every conquered civilization left fragments behind. Stories, art, music, dreams, memories. Most commanders ignored such things. Zira did not. She collected them, secretly. She stored them inside chambers hidden from the empire. Thousands of songs, millions of books, ancient paintings, lost histories. The beauty of destroyed worlds fascinated her. Why create beauty if destruction was inevitable? Why love if death always won? Why hope when extinction waited at the end? These questions grew inside her mind. The empire never noticed. They believed their queen remained loyal. Years passed. Then the empire discovered Earth, a small blue world, weak, primitive, insignificant, the perfect target. The emperor himself summoned Zira. The throne chamber stretched across miles. Millions of living pillars supported the ceiling. Countless creatures knelt before the emperor. His eyes glowed with ancient power. His voice shook the air. Earth must fall. Zira bowed. As you command. The emperor smiled. Leave no survivors. The invasion began immediately. Thousands of warships entered the solar system. Human defenses collapsed within hours. Cities burned. Governments vanished. Entire armies were erased. Humanity faced extinction. News channels transmitted final messages. Families said goodbye. People prayed. Others fought. Most simply waited. Zira watched everything. Every scream. Every sacrifice. Every act of courage. Something inside her shifted. She saw firefighters entering collapsing buildings. Doctors refusing to abandon patients. Parents protecting children. Strangers helping strangers. Humanity was losing. Yet they refused to surrender. The Brood Empire had conquered stronger civilizations. Smarter civilizations, older civilizations. None fought like humans. None displayed such stubborn hope. Zira found herself fascinated. She descended to Earth personally. The battlefield stretched endlessly before her. Smoke covered the sky. Millions were dead. Yet resistance continued. That was where she met him. A human soldier named Ethan Cole. His unit had been destroyed. His city had fallen. His family was gone. Still he fought, alone, surrounded, outnumbered, hopeless. Yet he refused to kneel. Zira watched from above. Curiosity replaced strategy. She landed before him. The ground cracked beneath her feet. Ethan aimed his rifle. His hands trembled. He knew who she was. Everyone did. The Brood Queen, the destroyer of worlds, the nightmare of galaxies. Yet, he did not run. He fired. The bullets bounced harmlessly away. Zira stared. Why fight? Ethan laughed bitterly. Because this is my home. You cannot win? Maybe not. Then why continue? Ethan lowered his weapon. Because some things are worth dying for. The words echoed inside her mind. Worth dying for. The Empire taught survival. Conquest. Dominance. Nothing more. No one had ever spoken those words to her. Before she could respond, explosions erupted nearby. Brood creatures attacked. Ethan prepared to fight. Then something impossible happened. Zira protected him. A single movement destroyed dozens of creatures. The battlefield froze. Even the monsters hesitated. Ethan stared in shock. So you can choose. Zira remained silent. For the first time in her existence, she disobeyed an order. The Empire noticed immediately. The Emperor demanded answers. Zira ignored him. She began traveling across Earth, observing humanity, learning, listening. She saw kindness amid suffering, hope amid despair, love amid destruction. The more she learned, the harder it became to continue the invasion. Then the Emperor arrived personally. His flagship darkened the sky. Entire continents trembled. The Empire gathered around him. Millions awaited judgment. The Emperor spoke. You belong to us. Zira faced him. I belong to no one. Shock spread across the Empire. No Brood commander had ever challenged the Emperor. Not once in history. The Emperor's eyes blazed. You were created to destroy. I choose another path. You cannot choose. I already have. The Emperor declared her a traitor. Every Brood army received the same command. Kill the Queen. Earth became the center of the greatest war ever fought. Humanity and the Brood Empire against a common enemy, the Emperor. Most humans distrusted Zira. Some hated her. Others wanted revenge. They had every reason. She had destroyed countless lives. Yet Ethan convinced leaders to listen. If she wanted us dead, we would already be gone. Reluctantly, humanity accepted her help. Together they prepared for war. Months passed. Battles raged across continents. The Emperor unleashed horrors beyond imagination. Titan creatures larger than mountains, living storms, biological weapons capable of consuming cities. Human forces struggled. Again and again, Zira saved them. She fought beside ordinary soldiers. She defended refugee camps. She protected children. Each act strengthened the bond between her and humanity. Still, victory seemed impossible. The Emperor controlled endless armies. For every monster destroyed, 10 more appeared. Human morale collapsed. Then Zira discovered a secret. Deep within the Emperor's flagship existed a living core, the source of his power. Destroying it would end the war, but reaching it required sacrifice. The mission carried almost no chance of survival. Ethan volunteered immediately. So did thousands of others. Zira knew what must happen. The final battle began at dawn. Earth shook beneath constant explosions. The sky disappeared behind warships. Fire consumed oceans. Mountains crumbled. The fate of 2 species hung in balance. Zira led the assault. Millions followed. Humans, former Brood soldiers, rebels, survivors. Together, they charged toward the flagship. The Emperor awaited them. His power dwarfed anything they had faced. Entire armies vanished beneath his attacks. Heroes died by the thousands. Still, they advanced. Zira fought like a living storm. Every step destroyed enemies. Every strike shattered war machines. Yet the Emperor remained unstoppable. At last, they reached the flagship core. Only one option remained. The core required direct fusion with a living consciousness. The resulting explosion would destroy everything nearby, including the person who triggered it. Ethan understood immediately. So this is it. Zira nodded. I will do it. Ethan shook his head. No. The war ends with me. The war ends with us. For a moment, silence filled the chamber. Then Ethan smiled. You taught us something. What? Choice. Zira felt something unfamiliar. Fear, not for herself, for him. The feeling surprised her. She had witnessed countless deaths, yet the thought of losing Ethan hurt. The realization struck with overwhelming force. She cared, deeply, perhaps even loved. The Emperor appeared before them. Time ran out. The final confrontation erupted. Energy tore reality apart. The flagship collapsed around them. Ethan reached the core. The Emperor attacked. Zira intercepted. Every ounce of her power exploded outward. The impact shattered entire sections of the ship. Still, the Emperor advanced, determined, furious, unstoppable. Ethan activated the sequence. The core awakened. Light flooded the chamber. The Emperor screamed. For the first time, fear appeared in his eyes. He lunged toward Ethan. Zira made her decision. She wrapped herself around the core, around Ethan, around the future. The explosion consumed everything. A star was born inside the flagship. Energy spread across the battlefield, across Earth, across the solar system. The Emperor vanished. His armies collapsed. The war ended. Silence followed. Days passed. Then weeks. Humanity searched the ruins. Most believed Zira was gone forever. A hero, a savior, a queen redeemed. Ethan survived. Barely. The explosion had thrown him clear, yet he never stopped searching. Something told him she remained alive. Years passed. Earth rebuilt. Cities rose again. Forests returned. Humanity healed. Stories of the Brood Queen spread across the world. Children learned her name. Statues honored her sacrifice. Songs celebrated her courage. She became legend. Then, one evening, a signal appeared. Deep beyond the stars, ancient, powerful, familiar. Scientists could not explain it. Ethan could. He smiled. You're still out there. The signal repeated every year, always stronger, always closer. Humanity prepared, not for war, for reunion. 10 years later, the signal entered the solar system. Millions watched. A single vessel emerged from hyperspace, unlike any ship ever seen. Beautiful, alive, radiant. The vessel landed peacefully. Crowds gathered. The ramp opened. A figure stepped forward. The world fell silent. It was Zira, changed, evolved. The explosion had transformed her. She no longer carried the darkness of the Brood Empire. Her armor glowed with living light. Her eyes reflected entire galaxies. She seemed almost divine. Ethan approached. Neither spoke for several seconds. Then he smiled. Took you long enough? She laughed softly. The sound echoed across the crowd. I had much to learn. What did you find? Zira looked toward the stars. Hope. Humanity welcomed her home. Not as a conqueror, not as a weapon, not as a queen, as family. Years later, Earth became the center of a new alliance. Humans and former brood worlds united. Together they explored the universe. They rebuilt what war had destroyed. They protected weaker civilizations. They chose cooperation over conquest, peace over domination, hope over fear. And at the heart of that alliance stood Zira, the being created to destroy galaxies, the weapon designed to end civilizations, the queen born for war, yet remembered for something greater, because in the darkest moment of history, she made a choice. A single choice that changed everything. She chose humanity, and humanity chose her. The stars still tell her story. Across countless worlds, children gather beneath night skies and listen. They hear of a queen born in darkness, a queen who carried death in her hands. A queen who stood upon a battlefield surrounded by fire and ruin, then turned away from destiny, turned away from hatred, turned away from destruction, and became the light that saved the universe. That is why her legend never dies, because power can inspire fear, victory can inspire respect, but sacrifice inspires forever, and forever belongs to the Brood Queen.